G'day, g'day. George here on the 12th of May 2026. That's right, I'm still around. And of course, I've got another message of hope. Alrighty. Andrew Feno, I think that's how I pronounce it correctly. It's sitting in the hot seat opposite Jeremy Clarkson. Remember Jeremy Clarkson? And context is with £500,000 already secured and a question on the screen that could double that amount. Yep, to £1 million. And that's the question. Oh, I actually did get a chance to be an audience for the Millionaire hot seat, the one run by Eddie McGuire. And I can tell you that even as being an audience, it was hard work. It's a really long day. I mean, they do cater for the audience, but boy, you just got to be sitting there and concentrate. Anyway, back to the story. He used his Ask the Audience lifeline, Andrew. Turns out 36% voted for Bette Midler. Again, do you remember Bette Midler? Well, he sat with that number. But according to him, something just didn't add up. He thanked Jeremy instead and took the £500,000 and walked away with it, with a thank you. Indeed, the correct answer was Andrew Lloyd Webber. Do you remember Andrew Lloyd Webber? Put in your comments if you remember those celebrities. Did you attend the concerts, buy the CDs? Let me know. Now, the audience was obviously wrong, and Andrew was proven right. Not about the answer only, but about something more important, I think. Can you see it too? Well, he knew what enough looked like. The word is enough. And he chose it while under pressure. And it was on national television as well. Andrew's real story isn't about the game show only, I think. You see, he and his wife are both translators, right? Professional translators. And what he said afterward is the part that stayed with me. They were getting concerned about the work situation. They had concern that the AI is putting them out of business. Now, if you're hearing this, that's not an abstract worry, is it? Again, put in your comment if you think AI is taking over your job. Now, that's a professional watching his livelihood shrink in real time. The skill he spent years building being quietly repriced out of the market. Yeah, I think he could sense that maybe the writing's on the wall soon. Now, I know a version of that feeling, even though it's not about translation, but with the way technology moves under your feet, whether you're ready or not. And I have to tell you, there was a period when I was completely consumed by mobile phone news. Yeah, almost to obsession. Every announcement, every spec sheet, every rumor about what was coming up next, I was there, ready to read. And of course, when Motorola announced the Moto X, boy, I genuinely got excited. In fact, I lusted after that phone. It looked extraordinary to me, the software bit. But it didn't have the dual SIM capacity, which I needed at the time. So instead, I ended up with the Moto G instead. It was cheaper, certainly less glamorous, but I said, you got to humble yourself. It is what it is. And here's what I discovered. That Moto G had a feature where you could talk to it. I'll explain. Let's imagine an SMS would arrive and a phone would read it aloud. Pretty clever, I thought. They would ask you if you wanted to reply. And if I did, I'll just dictate back to the, I was about to say computer. I suppose the phone's a computer these days. And it would send a message completely hands-free. I remember I had a client sitting next to me once, and she was so astonished. Wow, your phone can do that? Of course, I smiled with a smug. Yeah, you betcha. Bet your iPhone couldn't do it. So the phone I settled for could do something the phone I wanted never could. And around 2014, the obsession with these phone news just stopped. Yeah, not for any dramatic moments. It wasn't a lightning bolt that came to me, no. But really, I guess a question arrived one day and wouldn't leave it. The question was, how much information is enough? I realized I've been on a treadmill every upgrade created to itch for the next one, you see. These days, I'll just glance at a headline occasionally. Yeah, I don't purposely look for it. But the lust is gone, yeah. I'd rather spend that time on things that actually matter, especially on videos like these. And I hope it's been helping you guys. Now, I should say, last year, my telco told me my 2018 Samsung was no longer supported because it couldn't handle Wi-Fi emergency calls. Okay. I had to replace it against my preference, obviously, right? I was really annoyed. Which tells me something honest about myself, because I can talk about contentment and still not love being told what to give up. Now, just a little break, because I just want to announce I got 42 subscribers at the moment. I'm aiming to have 50 by the end of the week. So today's Tuesday, I've got 5 days to go. Can you be so nice, be a good sport, and be one of those 8 more to go? It'd be nice if you subscribe, like this video, and share the video, okay? You know what to do. Alrighty, the Apostle Paul writes this to Timothy. Have a listen to this. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Okay, doggy. And that's from 1 Timothy 6, verses 6. Okay? 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. So these 6 words, and I don't want to rush past them. Okay? Godliness with contentment. And it's not godliness, it's not godliness alone, but plenty of religious people are deeply discontented. Did I say contentment alone? Not alone? Because you can perfectly be contented and entirely be godless as well. It happens. But the two together, wow. Paul says that combination is great gain. Right? Great gain, right? He didn't put in the words a modest gain, didn't say adequate gain, but he said great gain. That's a big difference for you. Now, before you dismiss that as advice for people who have quietly wound down their ambitions, hear me on this. Paul wrote those words under Roman house arrest. So he planted churches across the known world, right? What a man he was. He was still writing letters that would outlast the empire imprisoning him. There's a bit of housework going up there, do-it-yourself stuff. Let's go this direction. The prison, right? So this is not a passive man's counsel. Now the Greek word translated contentment here is atorika. I hope I pronounced it right. It means a settled sufficiency. A state where external circumstances can rattle, but cannot ultimately be determined. And I'll voice the honest objection here, because I think some of you are already forming it. I'm guessing. Oh, George, isn't wanting more than just good stewardship? Shouldn't I always be maximizing what God's given me? Okay, well, I'll be honest. I haven't fully resolved that tension. The line between healthy ambition and relentless chasing isn't always clear from the inside, is it, right? What do you think? Well, all I can say is this. There is a difference between growing what you have and being unable to recognize when what you have is already sufficient. That takes a bit of wisdom, I would say. Andrew Feno wasn't refusing to grow. He was just making a clear-eye calculation with incomplete information, of course, under pressure in front of millions of people, and deciding that the risk of the next run wasn't worth what was already in his hands. Good move, Andrew, I think. Now, this is exactly what atorika Paul is describing. Now, some time back, I was made redundant. Am I bitter about it? No. The organization restructured, and I could see it coming anyway, because I watched my colleagues disappear one by one before my turn arrived. So no surprise, right? Obviously, when it happened, it wasn't a surprise. And recently, it's just like a few days ago, I recently found out they've cut another 100 people. Now, that one genuinely baffled me. They let go of Happy. Happy is a nickname I give to one of the staff there, right? I've changed her name because you know her type. She's Happy. She's one of the most senior person on the team. The one who knew where everything was, how everything worked, and why decisions had been made the way they had, right? The institutional memory of the place walked out that door, I'm telling you. Now, I don't know their reasoning. I've only spoken to the local CEO twice. Not someone I know well enough to say whether he drove this or inherited, or whether the list of names cost him sleep or not. I don't know. Maybe AI plus offshore sourcing out is where they've landed. I mean, plenty of organizations heading that direction, right? I'm seeing a tsunami of just layoffs week after week. So it's just getting old news. And it wouldn't surprise me. What I can tell you is that the quality service to the clients most likely will suffer. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much, because here's what I keep returning to, and it isn't bitterness. After all, there's a strange feeling that comes with watching an institution you once belonged to continue dismantling itself after you've already left. You're outside the building and it's not your problem, right? Just move on. But you can still see the demolition from across the street. When someone like Happy, who knew everything worth knowing about that place, the software, is being escorted out soon with a box, the thing you feel isn't grief exactly, isn't it? It's a realization that expertise was never the full protection we believe it was. Yeah? So what Andrew understood sitting in that chair, that hot seat, is that it never fully is. What you need isn't the right answer to every question, right? That would help, of course. But sometimes life doesn't handle you that way. It's a settledness to rebuild when the ground moves. And the ground's moving for a lot of people right now, right? Just look around you. My friends, the AI question isn't always going to go away. We've reached that stage now. I say that not to alarm you, but because pretending otherwise is not going to serve you well. And you may be sitting with a version of Andrew's decision this week. Maybe not in a television studio, I get it. It's just you and a quiet anxiety about whether what you do will still be valued in 5 years or even less. Whether the skill you built, it's already been repriced somewhere in a boardroom you'll never visit, right? Made at the top. Do you have a clear picture of what enough looks like for your family? I'm not talking about anything that's vague or not clear, but an actual picture. Well, Andrew had that picture in the hot seat. He knew what £500,000 meant for Frankie and their daughter Jemina. So, in his wisdom, he chose the certain enough over the uncertain more. Yeah, he didn't let the greed get the best of him. This is not a game show skill only. So let me bring you back to Paul's 6 words, because they had land differently now, doesn't it? But godliness with contentment is great gain. Wow, that's beautiful. And the first time I offered that verse, it was a principle. But now you hear it as a portrait, that painting on the wall you're going to keep referring to. Because the settled person who has looked at the hand and said, this is enough to build from. And I would say that not because more wouldn't be welcome, but because the relentless chase for more is not the same thing as the building of a life. Yes, the way God intended to be for all of us. Hey, just reminiscing the Motorola X, I wanted that so badly, the one I never got, and I ended up with a phone I settled for, and that phone could read my messages aloud and send my replies while I was driving. How good is that? Even my current phone, I can't do that now. I wouldn't know how to do it. Yeah, I didn't know how to do that when I bought it. I just knew it was enough. Andrew didn't know Andrew Lloyd Webber was the answer. He just knew £500,000 was just enough. My friends, when the floor moves under you, what will be enough to stand on? You tell me. All right then, thanks for today. I got to get on my errands. I'll see you on the next one. And be a good sport. Hopefully become a subscriber. Take care, bye-bye.